Shalom, giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rechakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations until the hopefully like tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And I just had to do a lesson, and it's in regards to what's being reported in this article. This is from the U.S. Sun, and the headline reads, Black Mirror. China and Russia will use drones size of insects to spy on West and commit untraceable murders, ex-Google futurist warns. And, lately, we've been discussing about the different episodes of this particular TV series, which you can view on Netflix. It's a pretty good series, and it's definitely showing you a bunch of futuristic ideas of the technology that they plan on using in the near future, if they not have been already using. Anything that they show you in that series, you better believe they either already in use of this technology, or they're warning you that the technology will be rolled out. All right. Like, for example, one of the earlier episodes in the series, I believe the episode was called what was it called? Metalhead. And in that episode, you had a situation where there were a bunch of these autonomous robotic dogs. All right, and they were very lethal. They ran at full speed. They exploded. If they came in close proximity of their intended target, they would explode on contact. It was definitely a very destructive vice. All right, and a few years after that, we find out that our government, they developed and adopted this technology, and now some of your local police forces in different various states in the country are actually using them. All right, so they tell you what it's going to be in these these futuristic films. All right, and this ain't no different than basically them trying to prophesy to you on the left hand side. All right, like they try to foretell events before they happen. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a quick scripture on it, and this is 2 Thessalonians 2, and this is an example of them trying to be like the Most High, because the Most High, He declares the ends from the beginning. He said, "Before they spring forth, I tell you of them." So this is Esau doing the same thing on the left-hand side. So this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." And this whole technocratic AI transhumanistic ideology and the development of the technology that coincides with this ideology has pushed him into God status, where he feels that he's above and beyond. All right, and they're trying to get rid of the concept or the idea of there being a higher power. All right, and that's why the Most High is allowing him to position himself, allowing him to, exalt himself. His excellency is reaching into the heavens, but it's only to show his power, just like he did Pharaoh. He raised Pharaoh up. They had their magi, they had their left hand power, He was able to do magic and witchcraft. So people looked at Pharaoh as if he was a god. Until the Most High, raised up Moses and showed his power. And it superseded, it surpassed the left hand power that Pharaoh and his magi's were using. And when the Lord basically made an example out of them by sending those 10 plagues, showing you that you can't win against the right hand, which is the power of the power and the strength of our Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the King of Terrors. So the Lord's gonna do that. He's gonna make Esau an example out of the same way. So continuing on, it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And that's when Yahushua comes back with the host of heaven. He's going to come back in his bright glory, and he's gonna subjugate the entire world. He's going to save his elect, and he's going to subjugate the rest of the world. He's going to destroy and put down the rule of these other nations, their authority, their dominions. Well, really, Esau's the one that's in dominion. This is his world, and like it says in Sirach, Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, around the 9th verse. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob's the beginning that follow it. So the Lord's going to come to destroy Esau's world, his kingdom. All right. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. And his working is dealing with his efficiency, or the operation that he proposes, through his left-hand technology, his artificial intelligence, which he believes that he's going to be able to enhance humanity with superhuman strength through his artificial intelligence. All right. One of the devices that they've been pushing is this brain technology, brain interface technology. All right. And they show that even in certain episodes of Black Mirror, how it's going to work. So they give you sneak previews as to, what they have in stores. All right, so the word working is from the Greek energeia, or energeia, and it says efficiency, energy, operation, strong, effectual working. In the New Testament, use only of superhuman power, whether of God or of the devil. And anybody that worship the beast in his image, they're gonna receive his mark, and they're gonna be basically participating in this transhumanist idea. Basically, Esau wants to bring it to pass through this technology. So people are gonna be perceived to have this superhuman power because they're able to do supernatural things with this technology. Esau wants to try to heal you, try to restore your eyesight, give you brain memory, enhance your brain memory. These sorts of things, man. It says, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Now let's look up that word signs. And the word is semeion in the Greek. And it says, an indication, especially ceremonially or supernaturally, miracle, sign, token, wonder. And it says that by which a person or a thing is distinguished from others and is known, a sign, prodigy, portent, i.e. an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. That's what he's intending to do with this artificial intelligence technology. This is part of their fourth industrial revolution, but it's also going to be weaponized, used against the common public. You know, they send these drones out to police you, to track you, to trace you, especially in the world of biometrics. You know, there's a lot of facial recognition technology everywhere. There's places where you gotta, you know, scan a QR code to get in. So everything is becoming more and more biometric. All right. It says of signs portending remarkable events soon to happen. And Esau does a lot of this through its predictive programming, through these films, through these series. And Black Mirror is definitely one of those ones. All right, if you ain't familiar with it, I'd binge watch the entire show starting from season 1 to the last season. Okay, and let's get another word. You go to etymology online, and I would look up that word portend. Portend, and it says to presage, foreshadow, signify in advance. Right? It says portending from Latin portendere, foretell, reveal, point out, indicate. Originally to stretch forward. All right. So this is what Esau does when he shows you, you know, through the predictive programming, futuristic events. All right. When he shows this technology in these films or in these shows, you better believe that they've been developed that technology years in advance. All right, and it's only a matter of time before they start to, you know, roll it out and use it in society. So that's what that's what this made me think of, right? But also the fact that if they do have, which I'm pretty sure they do have this technology, a lot of people gonna be in trouble. All right, these people gonna be in trouble, and the scriptures say. Let me see if I can, let me grab it real quick. And this is Psalm 17 and 13. And it says, arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. You know, because they didn't master that sword. Everything is a weapon. Everything that they've developed can be used as a deadly weapon. You know, the robots, drones, and we now know that they definitely have drones that are the size of insects. You would never know. They got, I'm pretty sure they got robot mosquitoes. All right, because I remember Bill Gates talking about, you know, sending out autonomous mosquitoes or AI mosquitoes. And they would be the ones that would spread forth, you know, viruses. And then they want to put the mRNA in those insects. So this man, he's mastered the sword. And that's why in these last days, you're going to have to be up under that divine protection from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Because it's going to, the scriptures don't say that it's going to be, when we read it was at Daniel 12 as well as Matthew 24 about how this day of trouble, this time of tribulation is going to be no other time since there was a beginning. There would be no other time like it since the world was made. And he said, if he don't shorten the days for the elect's sake, it will be no flesh to be saved. So it's going to be pretty deadly out here, man. Now let me go from there and let me get Job 19, because this is all part of that sword. And it reads, be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that you may know there is a judgment. Okay. So let's read a little bit of this article, and then I got a clip that I'm gonna show, afterwards. And this ain't no game, man. That's why you got to stay prayed up, constantly praying and making sure that you're doing the right thing. All right, because ultimately, the sword is part of the scourge, and like it says in Psalms, the rod of the rod of the wicked shall not fall upon the rod of the righteous, lest they put forth their hand to iniquity. So you ain't gotta fear the sword unless you're doing something wicked, unless you're turning your hands to iniquity, to evil. So you want to protect your hedge by doing the right thing. All right. So continuing on, it says, killer camouflage drones the size of insects could be used by Russia and China. And we know China, all right, is pretty much trying to mirror the glory of Babylon. All right. So they're mimicking the intellectual property, the technology, and it seemed like they're advancing quicker. Because, China, we know as the manufacturing hub of the world. So they got billions of people. They got a lot of intelligence there. So they're able to develop a lot faster. So they'll come out with certain technology before America, completes their technology. It says to commit untraceable murders, an ex-Google futurist warns. All right. It says Tracy Follows, who has also worked with Amazon and Meta, warned that they could even carry deadly pathogens and be used to spy on the UK. All right, and you see these images is from that Black Mirror episode, which I believe the name of the episode is called Hated in the Nation. I was able to watch that, and it was a pretty good episode. All right, there's a company called Granular, which granular means to something powdery. Like when you granulize something, you make sure it's turned into some type of grainy, powdery substance. Like when you grind something up, like grain. So this particular company, which is controlled and owned by the government, they used this technology, all right, which they were using what they call autonomous drone insects. But they were actually bees that were being used to replace near extinct bees. And they had the ability to be able to function like actual real life bees. They was able to pollinate, all right, create honey. They had the honeycombs. They had and there was various beehives all over the city. All right. So they were operating like they were bees, but these wasn't actual real bees. These were technology. They were autonomous drones, and they were programmed, of course. And anything that could be programmed can also be hacked. It could be manipulated. It could be used for different purposes. And let's just say that it went left, and they were being used as a weapon against various people. All right, and people were dropping dead. So it says here, and it is a prediction which is a echo. It's like which is a chilling echo of the Black Mirror episode "Hated in the Nation." It's in, I believe, season 3, if I'm not mistaken. It says the near future sci-fi show envisioned a world where robot bees designed to pollinate flowers could be hijacked to commit murder. And these bees, they had facial recognition technology built into them, and you had these spam bots that had it was a video called Game of Consequences, where if you hashtag death to and then you put the name of the person that you intend to have killed, you will put their name in that hashtag, and their name and their avatar would come up. And if enough people put in that same hashtag, it would send a signal to the bees, and the bees would actually go and locate the individual, and they would swarm on that individual. And even if you tried to barricade yourself away and try to get away from them, they were smart enough to infiltrate their way into the area where you trying to barricade yourself away, and they would get in, and they would basically fly in, find a entry of your body to fly into, whether it's your mouth, your ear, your nostril, and they would work their way into your brain and kill you. So it says the future of you author told The Sun, in time one expects a drone to have the situational awareness to carry out an attack autonomously without a human in the loop. The big question is, what's the payload on these drones? What are you actually attaching to the drones? Well, for one, we know that there's a surveillance technology in them. All right, because they can watch you, from a camera. Whoever is controlling it, they can watch you. They can keep tabs on you. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can be used to, like the article is mentioning, spread a certain pathogen. Like they already did with these artificial mosquitoes, and claim that they're using it to spread medicine to the people. That which is, come on, man. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. It says, increasingly over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been reading about viruses and how you can potentially attach a pathogen to these sorts of weapons. So not only can you identify somebody personally, you can attack them with a virus, for example. Terrifying, she warned it could open the door for rogue nations like Russia to assassinate targets on UK soil without leaving a trace. And I wouldn't be surprised if America has the same technology. I wouldn't be surprised if they would even use it on their own citizens. Because at the end of the day, even though the Georgia Guidestones have been destroyed, the statutes that were listed on those Georgia Guidestones, I'm pretty sure are still being executed, are still being followed. And the very first one we remember was that they want to maintain humanity under 500 million. So depopulation is still on the agenda. Okay, they still see a lot of people as useless eaters. There's too many people taking up, our resources in our sustainable development plan. So if we can call as many of the herd as we possibly can, we could reduce the population. That's what they've been mentioning in all those different TED Talks, especially Bill Gates. All right, you've had vice presidents, politicians. They didn't let out Freudian slips concerning what they intend to do, because that's been on the agenda. Psalms 64. It talks about that conspiracy. Psalm 64 and 1, it says, "Hear me, my God, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the plots of evildoers. And it says that they sleep not except they have done mischief. All right, and they lose sleep unless they cause some to fall. So this is what they do. They work evil. They practice it upon their beds when the morning is light. They carry it out because the power is in their hand. And they spend time in research and the money to fund these projects to get it developed. And then they simulate it. They introduce, the technology. They try to package it up like it's going to be something useful and beneficial to the world. And then they're going to use it to weaponize. Use it as a weapon against you people. All right. It says they sharpen their tongues like swords and aim cruel words like deadly arrows. They shoot from ambush at the innocent. They shoot suddenly without fear. And they're aiming towards the prophets who are out there warning about these type of things. That's why they want to put these executive orders into place to further take away the freedom of speech, to get rid of the so-called First Amendment, at which the Constitution really don't even apply to you, which is why there's nothing for them to take away your rights. Okay, that was only for a specific group of people, but they're aiming to basically silence the prophets, and at some point they're gonna lead the charge in persecuting the prophets to get us off the streets, to get us off of social media, to stop the message from going out. Even though we're giving you the message of the Heavenly Father himself. And the Lord's he's gonna have divine protection over his men. So when they try to come for us, the Lord's gonna start to, do his work. All right, and it's gonna be that cosmic battle, man. The right hand versus the left hand. It says they encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding their snares. They say, who will see it? They plot injustice and say, we have devised a perfect plan. Surely the human mind and heart are cunning. All right. And that's why it tells us in the New Testament, in the epistle of Apostle Paul to the church of Ephesus, it tells us to put on the armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, because this devil, his mind is very cunning. Ephesians 6:11, and it says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And we look up the word wiles, of course. It's from the Greek methodia. All right, where you get the word method. And it says method, traveling over, i.e. travesty, trickery. Down here, cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery. And hey, his technology falls under this method. Because what does technology mean? You look it up in the etymology. Technology and it says here, a discourse or treatise on an art or the arts, from Latinized form of Greek technologia, systematic treatment of an art, craft, or technique. Originally referring to grammar from techno, combining form of techne, art, skill, craft, and work, method, like methodia, cunning art. All right. Cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery. So this technology is part of his wiles. All right, art, skill, craft, and work, method, system, and we know that this the beast, the image of the beast, It's going to be it's basically a system of control through his, various uh, uh, devices. Whether it's through his technocracy, his technology, his democracy, his philosophy. All right, that's how he's going to enforce his authority to control the population, and you got to bow down to it. So it's definitely a system of control, and he uses this two-party system, whether he's using a Republican or a Democrat. Right now, he's currently using a Republican, all right, DJ Trump, Nero Trump, to enforce the technocratic side, the technology. He wants to, do away with fiat currency. He wants to bring in blockchain currency or digital currency. He wants to bring in the Iron Dome. He wants to use AI to treat illnesses. So this is all part of that beast system, the image of the beast. All right. It says an art, a system, or method of making or doing. So this is what we're to stand clear of. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Okay. So even back to 2020 and 2021, when they was trying to make you roll your sleeve up, that was part of his wiles. And you had certain Israelites who are not of the elect that told you to trust this devil. They told you to put your guard down. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got nothing to guard yourself about. And the scriptures tell you the prudent, the wise foreseeth the evil and hideth from self. But the simple look on and are punished. So those guys clearly are not the elect of the Most High. Or they would have told you, hey, guard yourself, put on your armor. Don't trust this devil. Have faith. Don't give in to this man. Because everything he does is for evil purposes. Like it says in was that Sirach 14, if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, but at the end he would declare his wickedness. So you have no reason to ever believe this devil. All right. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, dealing with a hierarchy of spirits. They dealing with the left hand. All right. They got their witches, their warlocks, their scientists, and they invoke spirits through sacrifices, through these portals, through CERN. And they work with these demons that give them these ideas. Right? It says against powers, that's the authorities of this world. The governments, the elites that controls the governments, these corporations. Granular was in that episode was basically a corporate entity. And the government was what deployed with the government is who deployed those autonomous drone insects. All right. So they have control over these over this technology. It says against the rulers of the darkness of this world. That's your elite, the international bankers. It says against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in an evil day, and having done all to stand. All right. And we got to, pray, of course. Have faith, pray. Be not overcharged with the affairs of this life and, drunkenness, the cares of this life, so that they can overtake you unawares. All right. And the scriptures say to walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. So if this is what they got in the tuck, then we got, it's going to be long days ahead. even though the Lord's going to, move things fast. But this is what, you can expect. And this can be used as a, as a plague. All right. To cause so-called epidemics. Or it could be used to spy on people. And kill people. So I believe this. If they put it in Black Mirror, I believe it. They definitely have it. All right. It says Scorpio and his daughter Yulia survived, but looks like it. Did I skip past? Okay. I didn't read this part. It says Moscow was infamously accused of poisoning an ex-Russian spy, Sergei Skripal, in Salisbury in 2018. Scorpio and his daughter Yulia survived, but local woman Dawn Sturgis was inadvertently killed when she sprayed what she thought was perfume on her wrist. Russia denies any involvement. Before that, Skripal was convicted of spying for Britain in 2006 and jailed for 13 years. But in future, drone attacks can make it impossible to identify a culprit. Follows, who founded consultancy service Future Made, said, if you can camouflage these micro weapons, and if you've got technology that's so advanced that the enemy country doesn't know what's happened, you can't really trace exactly what happened. And that's scary, man. Like I said, we're gonna need divine intervention, divine protection. I'm pretty sure an angel will be able to spot them and put a stop to it. But the average man, you won't even know what the hell is going on. You won't even see it coming. All right. You thinking this is a regular little fly, trying to bother you. And that thing is aiming for your nose or your eyes. See? If you are adding a virus as a payload onto a drone, it could be a completely new virus. You may not know what that virus is in. It's like you may not know what that virus is in your country, and it's attacked somebody individually because it's autonomously targeted and activated against that person. And they showed you that in that episode. The moment your name became that hashtag death2 and then your name, and it was repeated multiple times in the system, it would send that signal to those drones, and they would fly as swarms directly to where you're at. It didn't matter where you was at in the city. They would locate you and they would get you. All right. As follows, ranked in the world's top 30 futurists by global gurus added, I don't think it's just Russia and China that one has to worry about. I think it's anybody in any country. And you definitely have reason to speculate that. Whatever they got, America is sitting on. All right. In any region who is starting to integrate AI into the military and into these lethal weapons. Drone technology continues to advance at an alarming rate as the AI explosion shows no signs of slowing down. This month, chilling images emerged of a new Chinese mothership drone carrier that can launch swarms of mini drones, and I saw that recently too. All right, so they're advancing, man. That's why the Lord, when He comes back with the angels, it's going to be the Lord's going to walk through them. All right, with His brightness, with His splendor. All right, and it's going to be a big war. All this shit got to be dissolved. All right, but this is what these nations have developed, and because they have this type of might through their technology, they filling themselves. So let me get this in Psalms 9 and 20. And it says, put them in fear, O Yahweh, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Salah. All right, matter of fact, let me start at 19. It says, arise, O Yahweh, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Yahweh, that the nations may know themselves to be but men, Salah. Right? And as for us, like it says in Psalms 91, to dwell in that secret place. Psalms 91:1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Surely he will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His trust shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. That's the missile. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. So, we're going to be protected and guided under the shadow of the Almighty. All right. Also, Job 5? Job 5:19, it says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yet in 7 shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. And that means drones. All right, these autonomous drone insects, tanks. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. And that's why the Lord even said, woe to you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep. But it's going to be the complete opposite when that time comes. All you scoffers or scorners that's laughing now and think that this is all a joke. We're going to laugh when these things start to happen. We're going to laugh at you. The Lord said he's going to mock when your fear comes. All right. He says, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shalt not sin. All right. So the elect are going to be given that divine protection. As it says also in Psalms 34, the angels encamp round about those that fear the Lord. So let me get this video. Some of y'all may have already seen this clip before, but I'm going to just play it anyway. And this is from 6 years ago, so they've been advertising what they got. All right. So I'm pretty sure major governments all over the world got this technology. So let's play this and we'll close.
Right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. Now trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free. Just characterize him, release the swarm, and rest easy.
This short film is more than just speculation. It shows the results of integrating and miniaturizing technologies that we already have. I'm Stuart Russell, a professor of computer science at Berkeley. I've worked in AI for more than 35 years. Its potential to benefit humanity is enormous, even in defense. But allowing machines to choose to kill humans will be devastating to our security and freedom. Thousands of my fellow researchers agree. We have an opportunity to prevent the future you just saw, but the window to act is closing fast.
So that's why the scriptures say to be carnally minded is death. Because if you're thinking you're going to get out of here based on your own carnal strength, you're thinking that you're going to use your muscle, you're thinking that you're going to use your firearms, or whatever the case may be, you better think again. We're going to definitely need divine intervention. All these carnal Israelite groups, you got the Hebrew Israelite Academy, where the ISUPK is out there running military drills, and doing all this. That's not going to work. All right, they got this kind of technology. You're not winning against that. It's going to take a higher power to be delivered from this. And this is just, scraping the surface of what they got. All right. So, yeah. This is what they have in stores. And this is just Esau flexing his sword might. Because that was his blessing that was given to him by Isaac. All right. So, yeah, man. I just want to basically, bring this out. Just to give more insight and so that brothers and sisters can, just understand the times that we're coming into. All right. And they wouldn't have this in this article if it wasn't no truth to it. All right. So anyway, Lord willing, y'all edified. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Until the next lesson, Shalom.